The DC Cinematic Universe made its grand return to theaters with a shiny new Superman movie last year, which was well received across the board. Now we continue the Gods and Monsters saga from the perspective of his Kryptonian cousin, who hasn't had a solo film in over 40 years. Millie Alcock leads this new take on the character based from the beautifully illustrated Woman of Tomorrow story, directed by Craig Gillespie, the same guy behind Cruella and I, Tonya. Despite this being an adaptation of a multi-issue comic run, can this film actually do justice to the source material or the DC brand as a whole? Well, let's find out.
He sees the good in everyone, and I see the truth.
Supergirl. Following her appearance from Superman, Kara Zor-El spends her birthday weekend exploring the galaxy and getting totally wasted with her super fur baby, Krypto. Along the way, she meets a young girl by the name of Ruthie who witnessed her family being killed by reject Ravager goon Krem of the Yellow Hills. She takes her father's prized sword and embarks on a quest for revenge. One thing leads to another, Krypto gets poisoned, setting the central conflict in motion and pitting these two young women in a ticking clock chase for the antidote to their problems. As you can imagine, there are many creative choices that were taken when adapting this story to the big screen, some of them for better and some of them for worse. It was less of an epic space adventure and more of a True Grit meets Mad Max with some alien pirates thrown in the mix. The foundation of the plot was solid, however, the execution of its themes and ideas left a lot to be desired, especially from a visual standpoint. We've got a lot of dusty, dark browns, grays, and junky trash planets as opposed to the vibrant, colorful ones from the book. I was never expecting this to be a one-to-one recreation of that, but a little more than what we got would have been nice. Millie Alcock brings a spunky charm to the character and hits all the emotional beats when necessary. The flashback scenes with her parents on Krypton were probably the best parts to me. Like it or not, the film does well to show why she parties so hard and highlights how vastly different her experiences are from Clark. David Corenswet returns as Superman and he's just as great as ever. Can't complain there. But Jason Momoa as Lobo was obviously the real standout for this cast. He brought a certain vibe that I couldn't find anywhere else. Even though the character didn't really need to be in this movie, his inclusion was welcomed regardless. I wish I could say the same about Krem, played by Matthias Schoenaerts. The villain was so generic and forgettable and a massive departure from his original look that's almost cartoonishly over-the-top evil. I know the director wanted this film to be gritty and dirty, but damn, they might have gone too far in some aspects. The fight scenes were passable but messy in the camera work, and the shots from outer space look better than being on the ground. Another point of contention for some people may be the self-contained lower stakes of the plot. Nothing really happens that affects the larger DC universe in a meaningful way, and that's not inherently a bad thing, just kind of disappointing. So, while there are little nuggets of decent ideas in Supergirl, overall it was just an okay experience at best. It was far from completely bad as some folks will have you believe, but when you combine a middling story, lackluster visuals, and a dash of studio mishandling, the result tends to be pretty average. While I am excited to see what's in store for the future of this character in the DCU, I just wish her first solo outing was better. So having said that, I'm going to give Supergirl a solid 6 out of 10. Now, one underperforming film is not going to sink the entire ship, but DC really needs to lock in from here on out if they want to keep people invested long term. Have you seen Supergirl? What are your thoughts on it and how does it compare to Superman? Feel free to let me know in the comments section below. Thanks for watching and I'll see you next time.